To avoid missing the upcoming tale, hit the subscribe button beneath this video, and don't neglect to give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments section. Buddies, today we're in for a fantastic story. The authors present it clearly, with intrigue and investigations intertwined with espionage. To put it simply, it's going to be captivating. Settle in and relish the narration. My spouse and I encountered each other by happenstance. We were both returning from work, she with a companion, I with a pal. We invited them over, cooked some smelt, and retired for the night. From that point on, we've been together. We tied the knot after 3 years. Following 6 years, our little girl was born. Incidentally, we desired children but had no success. Pals started to tease us. Subsequently, we visited a resort, immersed ourselves in the holy spring, and a mere 3 days post the initial night, she became pregnant. We were over the moon with joy. Presently, our daughter is nearly 4 years old. However, in 2015, my firm, which had been thriving for 5 years, was struck by the recession. Slowly, everything crumbled. The money dried up. I commenced drinking a bit, 2 or 3 cans every other day or daily. I didn't consume vodka and never got intoxicated, just a persistent hangover. My wife started to strongly dislike it. Minor quarrels and arguments began. Moreover, I brought in less cash than her. In December 2015, I had a fascinating dream. My dreams typically always predict something, either money or unpleasant news and so forth. My intuition also functions well. In short, upon waking, I realized something was amiss. I pondered. Let me investigate. I'm a programmer myself. To start, I took a printout of calls and compared them with the calls in memory, and instantly got into trouble. Twice she phoned a coworker, they worked together, and erased the history of these calls. I think, what the heck, the engineer works until 5. She worked until 5:30 that day, and the call was even later. In brief, I became fixated that there was something off here. Then she attended a corporate party and photos surfaced on social media. The photos are ordinary, the usual drunken pre-New Year's feast. But there was one photo in which my wife and that coworker are standing by the wall, as if on the side, observing the creative chaos, like nothing special. I started to ask my wife questions, to mess with her mind, as she puts it. She responded that it was all nonsense, there was nothing there, she wasn't cheating. But the photo with the coworker vanished from her friend's album the very next day. Okay, I think, we will continue to dig. I connect her phone to a tracking app and observe her movements. In January, she somehow unusually came from work along a different route, making an inconvenient detour. I inquired why you were there and there at such and such a time. She swears that she wasn't there, says she was in the mall. Period. From that place to the mall, it's 2 kilometers. Cell towers could give her such a location only in 2 cases. Either she was really in that area, or she was where she claims. But at a height of more than the 5th floor. I already checked it experimentally. Nonsense, of course. It's all glitchy stations, or I'm winding myself up. But the bug of infidelity continued to gnaw at our family tree. We also had issues with sex. I need it every day, and she needs it twice a month. Although 2 years ago she wanted it twice a week. This made me think bad thoughts. Plus, I began to notice some discharge on her underwear. Sorry for the details. But this is important. She can't stand daily pads. She explained this by saying that, well, it was always like this for her in the middle of the cycle. I just didn't notice, like some kind of female diseases, thrush and all that. Oh, but it's not about the discharge. It's just that when I put her under a hood, more on that later, the discharge miraculously disappeared. Now the underwear is always clean. But I think tracking movements is not enough for me. I need to record calls. I dug around on the internet and found a few programs. I installed it on her phone and started listening. Once she tells an acquaintance, not even a friend at work, that I've tortured her. I want to have sex all the time, and she works, gets tired. I don't get sex, they say, in the bathroom. I'll relieve the tension. She helps me with this, lets me hold her, in short, all in this spirit. Such details that I'm ashamed to tell my friends, she told some purse. And that one is only glad to ask questions. She herself doesn't say a word about herself. But I think this is definitely the end. Who am I living with? By the way, before these events, I considered my wife almost a saint. She doesn't smoke, drinks very little, rarely. The house is always clean. She is constantly rustling around the house. Long-legged, beautiful, perfect figure, tall. In short, well, a super wife. But after these wiretaps, I was stunned. The crisis began after I heard that she and a friend were already talking about some man with whom, I quote, "We will go somewhere by car." I think they are definitely not talking about me. My car is under repair for a long time. There were no conversations about trips. I began to torture my wife, admitting that I was eavesdropping on her, but not saying how. There was a big scandal. I, being drunk at 11 p.m., smashed the plasma with my fist. Hell, it had already annoyed me before. This TV. In short, I took the TV out to the trash and left the house for the night. During the day, I wandered around, drank. Meanwhile, she called her mother-in-law from Denver, they say. "Take the child away. The husband has gone crazy here." The mother-in-law rushed over in a couple of days. I wrote down their conversations at home and was stunned once again. Before, I thought that I was the perfect son-in-law, and a good cook, and smart, and so on. But here in the conversations I learned that I am a goat, a demon, Satan, a pathetic, insignificant person who does not bring money home. In short, the mother-in-law was winding up that I should be dumped. My wife, due to her modesty, simply kept silent. True, she said that she could not be near me. By the way, I never beat my wife and I'm not going to. Usually I only beat walls and TVs, as you already understood. My wife also has a bad habit of making a mountain out of a molehill, as it turned out. For example, now she complains to her mother-in-law that I mock her, and the mockery consists of the following. I'm mostly silent, I don't want sex, and I don't give flowers. It's funny, right? In short, whatever the wife tells the mother-in-law on the phone, I record the calls. She exaggerates. Damn it, 10 times. The mother-in-law is on her own wavelength. Dump the demon. Okay, these are still flowers. Then it gets even worse. The mother-in-law took the child to Denver. We stayed to live together. It's strange somehow, but after these quarrels, my wife had a strong attraction to me. We enjoyed each other, almost every day, like the first time. Then she confessed to me that she was probably a maniac, and after I yell at her, we quarrel. She wants sex. I think, what now should I always yell? But one day, like a bolt from the blue, my daughter, having caught some infection with a temperature of 102, was admitted to the hospital, got into intensive care. We rushed to Denver. It was painful to look at her condition. I began to blame my wife for her flirting, my mother-in-law for the negativity. I blamed the mother-in-law for not looking after her. In short, negativity again. Soon, my daughter was cured by injecting antibiotics, and we took her back. We agreed to live peacefully, go to church more often, atone for sins, and so on. But then again, another wiretap. One of her patients at the appointment, she is a dentist, I completely forgot to say, behaved somehow strangely, and she worked with him somehow strangely. Officially, she spoke loudly, rattled her tools, her drills, but sometimes she switched to a half-whisper, called the patient you, although it was forbidden and she didn't call anyone else that. She told me later that she saw him for the first time, although on the recording, in an official voice. "So we met last year." And in a half-whisper, "You made it, but I can't." In short, now I will give you snippets of phrases that I managed to hear. Here the patient says, "The tooth somehow worries me the least. The main thing is that you love me." She, "You made it, but I can't." More from her, "Let me kiss." She, but unintelligible, but couldn't. Money is always not enough. And the patient whispers, unintelligible, gentler. By the way, I somehow teased her during sex with the same intonation, said, "Gentler." She almost choked. In short, there are also sounds like buttocks hitting. Got it? I listened 100 times, cleaned up the recording. But it wasn't a patient, by the way. I was no longer angry and did not rage. I just thought about what a fool my wife was, damn it. But they told you that your husband is a spy, writing to you. But no, you still put the phone in the drawer. And she thought that the sound could not be increased programmatically. In short, I suggested confessing, repenting, getting a belt from me and going to confession. She says I have schizophrenia, I'm going crazy. It seems to me that words and sounds are an ordinary patient. A very young man. Haha, with a huge dick probably. She denies everything. Okay, I say, call the administrator, ask for the number of this young man. She calls, the administrator is her friend. Having heard the request, she whispered with someone. Then there was a chuckle on the phone. She gave a chuckle. maybe the chuckle is a coincidence. In short, I enter the number on the internet, some company pops up, in the coordinates of which this mobile phone is. I say that now young men of their company have. The wife says it's probably the parents' number. Again, she denies. We continue to dig. And a couple of days ago, we dig up the following. The wife and her friend are talking again. At first, it's unintelligible. And then this is what the friend says. It's okay, right? A colleague is a director who is rarely there. But the place there is ideal for intimacy. Put a colleague in the office. Come on, come on. The wife says, one is needed, yes. Then a whisper. The friend says, you need this, Lena. The wife, by the way, John and I, that strange patient, each other, the friend. To hand her over where or to put her there, it was unintelligible. The wife says, he has a 3-room apartment. Then again, unintelligible. Did he have me or not? It's unclear too. The friend, so we are brothers. The wife. The friend says, how is John? Not bad. The wife, oh yes, just as they give me a shift tomorrow. In the sense that Sonia is here until 3. I also work part-time there. I can't come. Further, their conversation was cut off by people who came. But there was also a flicker. The wife says that, they say, the summer is to wait it out here. Sort of. The conversation seems to be about nothing. There is no cheating here. Maybe the word had seemed to me. But my wife denies that this conversation even took place. I say, listen to us. She says, I won't listen. I didn't cheat on you, period. Here's a cross for you if you want. Let's go to a lie detector and so on. On the one hand, guesses, on the other hand, coincidence. John there, all sorts of things. Back in December, in addition to the dream, there was this. The wife fell on a level place on both knees. Then for no reason at all, she gave me an expensive phone, which immediately began to glitch and does not get out of repairs. Signs are all around. Personally, I have no faith in my wife. I now consider her just a stupid fool with a weak crotch. I have no more facts. She does not confess. By the way, a convenient position is not to confess at all until I catch her in bed. Cool and blonde-wise. I'm afraid that if she is cheating, then doing it after what we've been through. Our daughter's illness, intensive care. But this is just spitting in the sky. I don't know what to do. To live with such a woman, according to my guesses, of course, I don't want to. I can't live without her. I still love her. For now, strongly. Although every day, less and less. I began to notice that she is not very beautiful. A tummy appeared. Breasts are sagging. I drive away these thoughts. But the bug of infidelity continues to gnaw at our family tree. If I leave them, such a mother will be able to raise the same. You already understood, I think. I won't express myself. If it weren't for the children, I would have kicked her out to Denver and found another. But like this, I don't even know. Or maybe forget everything, format the brain and continue to live as we lived. What do you say? Give me some advice.